Hey guys, sorry that I'm not here today. Had a late night with my father-in-law, so I didn't want him to stay home by himself. He's not feeling well. So we're going to start our day with a new activity, and that is global. And that's actually going to be linked right here at the top. As soon as I'm done, I'll go put that there. So basically how global works is you're trying to guess the country of the day. It's like, you try to guess it in as few guesses as possible. So the redder the color, the closer you are to the country. If you get in white colors, then you're really far away. So use the table maps and try to find the country today. All right, so our affirmations. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am capable. I'm in charge of my destiny. Today is a new day with a new opportunity to make your world a better place to be. So today we have Where in the World, week 2. So here you can see the submit form. If you click there, it's going to take you to where you can submit your answer. And our first clue is off on another adventure. This time we have just climbed 16 steps leading to a wonderful tomb that was buried for centuries beneath the desert sands. And for your inspiration today, take a look at this story and how this clerk started putting art on billing statements to lift the spirits of some of the clients. All right, so today we're going to get into our so today we're looking at Activator 814, interpreting maps. And let's just take a look at what you are doing today. So you can see there are several little questions here. Take a look at this map right here. This is using latitude and longitude. It's in Oregon, and you can see that each line represents a line of latitude or line of longitude. So look at the question that it asks you. Using the map as a reference, where's the capital of Oregon located? So use your key, figure out what the capital is, and then figure out its location. The next map, using the map as a reference, which of the coordinates below is the town Eugene closest to? Okay, so look for Eugene. Next question, use the map as a reference. Which of the coordinates is the town of Vail closest to? So find Vail and then see which coordinates are closest to Vail. All right, and then the next one. Which town is closest to 45 north, 123 west? So use your coordinates and find which town that is. All right, and then lastly, what is located at 46 degrees north and 125 degrees west? Okay, so look at your terms out here and then match them where they go. It's just a coordinate, so just a math skill, very like doing your X and your Y axis. All right, so once we are finished here, we'll go back to our homepage where we're going to learn about continents and oceans. So for this part of the lesson, I want computers closed. I need you paying attention because you will have a small assessment after this. All right, so we need to learn about the continents of the world because all of our geography is going to come back to continents and oceans, okay? So what is a continent? It's basically a large landmass. Typically a continent separated by water or some other natural feature, like a mountain. And the reason we say this is all of the continents are separated by water except for Europe and Asia. They are actually separated by mountains. So here are 7 continents: Asia, Africa, North and South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australasia. So the continents only cover about 29% of the Earth. The rest of the Earth is water. So almost 71% of our Earth is water. So let's talk about Asia. It's our biggest continent. It's about 2/3 of the world's population live there. It has 48 countries. It has India and China, which are 2 of the largest. Actually, this past year, India surpassed China, and India is now the most populated country in the world. The tallest mountains in the world, the Himalayas, are found in Asia, and the lowest point, the Dead Sea, is also found in Asia. And if you were to visit Asia, you might find animals like tigers and monkeys and the giant panda. Africa's our second biggest continent in the world. There's 54 countries in Africa. That's more than any other continent. So some of the countries that you might find here: Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, which is often confused with Africa, the continent, Kenya, Zimbabwe. My favorite to say is Djibouti. That's actually in the eastern part of Africa. It has the biggest desert that's non-polar. It's a hot desert. That's the Sahara. And you're going to find animals like giraffes, elephants, and lions. They like to live in the savannas of Africa. North America, that's home. That's our home. We're the third largest or biggest continent in the world. And some of our countries, although most people would, when they learn in school, they think the only countries that are part of North America are the USA, Canada, and Mexico. That's not really true. There's about 23 countries in America, but those are the main countries that people think of when they think of North America. Pumpkin and corn originated here in North America, and we have animals like bears, skunks, and the moose. South America, it's the fourth largest continent in the world. There's only 12 countries in South America. Countries like Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, those are found in South America. The largest rainforest in the world, the Amazon, is found in South America, and most of it's found in Brazil. Things like tomatoes, potatoes, chocolate, they all come from South America. So we're glad we have South America. So those are all things we like. South America, you can find animals like the llama. There's sloths in the Amazon rainforest, jaguars. So some interesting animals as well as some interesting sights. Our third smallest continent, that's Antarctica. Don't want to go there because it is the coldest and windiest continent on Earth. It's almost completely covered in ice. Now, with global warming, it is starting to melt in certain parts. It's surrounded by what's known as the Southern Ocean, probably a new ocean that you haven't heard of. Hundreds of scientists live and work in Antarctica each year, but no people that are not scientists live in Antarctica. Now, if you're adventurous, you could take a cruise out to see Antarctica. In Antarctica, you're going to find things like the penguins, the albatross, and seals. Those are all animals that are home to Antarctica. So when we get to our smaller continents, Europe, it's the second smallest. There's 44 countries in Europe. Things like France, Germany, England or the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, all of those are countries that are found in Europe. Things like apples, pears, and raspberries, those are all foods that originated in Europe. And most of the people who live in Australia originally came from Europe. And Europe is home to things like the fox, the wolf, the bear. So they have a lot of forests there and beautiful open lands for farming. So our last continent is a continent that is going to go by many names. And we're going to talk about what we're going to call it in here and why. So Australia, Australasia, Oceania. So Australia is the name that most Americans refer to because this is what's written on the map. Australia is the country name, but also often refers to the continent. Now, other people don't always refer to that as the continent name because the continent is not just Australia. It's Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and all of the Pacific Islands. So Australasia takes all of those places I've just said and gives credit to them by calling it Australasia. But you may have heard of the term Oceania. Oceania is also a way that you can say all of the islands because Australia is an island. So is Papua New Guinea, so is New Zealand. So all of those islands are in the Pacific Ocean. So Oceania is a way to refer to this area as well. It's the smallest continent. Sometimes it's called an island continent. Things like the Great Barrier Reef, which is a coral reef, are found off the coast of Australia. The Aborigines people in Australia came 50,000 years ago, and there's still people today that are of the original Aborigines that came. It is closest to Asia, and they have animals like the kangaroo, the koalas, and the emus. So let's take a look at our oceans. So most of y'all are probably thinking, oh, I know the oceans. There's 4 of them. Well, there's actually 5 oceans. An ocean is a large area of salt water, and as we just learned earlier, over 70% of the earth is covered in ocean. The 5 oceans that we're going to look at: Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and the Arctic. The biggest ocean, that's the Pacific Ocean. It reaches from North and South America to Asia and Australia. So it covers a good percent, and often when you see it on a map, so you can see it here, often when you see it on the map, you see it on both sides of the map. It's surrounded by a line of volcanoes known as the Ring of Fire, and we'll take a look at that as we're studying different areas of the world. It also is home to the Great Barrier Reef, and the Challenger Deep, the deepest point on Earth, is in the Pacific Ocean. The word Pacific actually means peaceful. The second biggest ocean in the world is the Atlantic Ocean. It reaches from North and South America to Europe and Africa, so it's in the middle here. It's a big ocean, but it's only half the size of the Pacific Ocean over here. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is an underwater mountain range, the longest underwater that's found, that can be found in the Atlantic Ocean. And the first person to sail across the Atlantic Ocean from Europe was a guy by the name of Leif Erikson, and the year was 1000, and he was a Viking, and he ended up way up here. Okay. The Indian Ocean, it's the 3rd biggest ocean, and it's actually named for the country that it sits by, India. It's home to many endangered animals: turtles, seals, dugongs, or sea cows. And lastly, the next one, the 4th largest or 2nd smallest, is the Southern Ocean. This is probably the one you haven't heard of. But in the 70s, scientists said we need to go ahead and name this because it's not the same type of waters that the Atlantic or the Indian Ocean are. And so we need to give it its own special name. So this surrounds Antarctica, and sometimes people call it the Antarctic Ocean. It's the coldest and wildest ocean. It has a lot of strange currents that cross here. It's home to the emperor penguins, blue whales, elephant seals, and the albatross. And lastly, our smallest ocean is the Arctic Ocean, and it's up at the northern part of our world, and it surrounds what we know as the Arctic. It is usually covered completely in ice, and animals like polar bears live in this ocean because they can swim in that water. Because of climate change, the amount of ice covering the Arctic is getting smaller every year. So our oceans are super important. There are 700,000 different species of animals, so we need to protect them and their habitats and keep them safe. It's full of tiny plants which help produce oxygen that we need to breathe. Oceans also provide food for many creatures, including humans. So this is our oceans and continents. We will be taking a little quiz over that, so you can open your devices and you're going to go to learn about continents and oceans. And that should take you to this page right here, where you are going to match up learning about continents and oceans. So based on the information we just talked about, take a few moments to complete this activity. When you are finished with this activity, and you go back to our homepage where today's 814 is, you will see that at the very bottom, I've included some practice links for continents and oceans. Okay, so you can see them right here: continents and oceans, shepherd, word wall, and lizard point. These are to help you get familiar with the location of the continents and oceans. We will be taking a quiz on that on Wednesday. We'll do a little more review when I get back tomorrow, but those are the tasks for you. If for any reason you are not able to link through my assignment here, please just go to your upcoming and link your assignments in your upcoming. All right, have a great day.